guys, it's Sandra from Inspired Keyboardist, and today I just want to talk a little bit about how I play in according to varying degrees of band dynamics, and I'm going to use Hillsong's Broken Vessels just because it's a song that's got this really impressive long repetitive section at the end that kind of like double very long build-ups. And so let's get started. I will usually start something very low, mid to low, just because I think this is a very nice default sound. Also because it's a personal preference. I generally like sounds at this range. I reserve this range for building up, or maybe this particular range for building up to here, and then sometimes this zone is already at like the high sections, places like the second chorus, for example, or the bridge, the very high parts of the bridge, the building up to the bridge, you know, that's like the climax usually. And of course at this zone of the keyboard, I would really reserve that for super duper highs, and usually I would play octaves for that. So you might want to refer to the video of my piano cover of Broken Vessels. I'm sure I will link it somehow. And I just want to explain exactly what I was doing in that. So let's just start the recording of Broken Vessels. So this part, I'm really just following the, I think it's an electric guitar going. And then second time I'm actually doing an octaves. Okay, so I hope you caught the difference, you know, the difference between, like, you might think, hey, I'm only using a piano and I can't really vary the sounds. You can actually do a lot by playing one voice and then playing double voice, so to speak. It's kind of like alto and soprano singing together, right? So you contrast that against so that's actually a very nice little contrast. Remember, the ear really takes delight in contrast, so we want to really maximize on that. Of course, you don't want to overdo this, and it's also a matter of taste. So I kind of discovered it and I thought, hey, sounded pretty good, so I thought I wanted to share with you guys. And moving on. So this part usually extremely quiet, just chord really, and you could just do. You could really just play at the very start of the bar, or you could do a bit more, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So at this zone, I actually moved up a little bit to this zone. Previously I was here, but this is the pre-chorus. Is it a pre-chorus? Yes, it's a pre-chorus, and so I want to have a difference in the sound, so that's why I moved up to here. I may or may not play the melody. You'll notice that over here, I might want to add, this is just something I kind of discovered, extremely quietly playing this 4 and 1, and you could call it quavers. If you refer to my video about the everlasting 1 and 5, well, this is the 1, and of course there's 5 here that I'm secretly pressing as well, and here of course it's the second time you're hearing the introduction, so you want to make it a little bit more grand, and it also only appears once, so this is where I might play in octaves. Okay, so here's the second verse, and I will definitely play a little bit more contrasted to the first verse. louder. I'm using a lot more strength here compared to the first time, but not too much because you want to reserve the loudest to later. But you can certainly do a little bit more, like make it a little bit busier than the first time. And once again, they just do this very, very classic drop at the chorus. You can hear the orchestration of the original recording being very, very thin, very sparse. There's no rhythm section, no drums, and it's just really a stagnant chord lasting throughout the whole time. So I imitate the whole thing as well. I have very little movement here, just simple chords. And of course, this is where we have the instrumental leading up to the bridge, and this moment. So this riff, it's really the electric guitarist's special moment. You don't want to steal the moment from the electric guitarist. So if there is a guy there playing the electric guitar part, don't play it. Let the person play it. So you might want to just do this. Yeah, so just play the accompaniment part. Now be very sensitive to the drums. I can hear the drums kind of playing a little bit more right now, so my left hand, especially my little finger, it's extremely sensitive to it. So what I'm doing is I'm listening and I'm trying to match the drum at all times, making sure, and I can hear quite a bit more building up right now. So I'm doing this. And my right hand's kind of, I'm playing, of course, the everlasting 5 and 1. And here's yet again, we're hearing this section again. I'm starting to move up. So I can hear this beat going on. I'm trying to match that. And so to make things interesting, I might actually just start putting in a little harmony version, harmonized version of the riff. So instead of, I don't think it's time to use, just because I think I want to reserve that for one of the last few times we hear this, and of course we hear this quite a bit because this is a very repetitive song. Of course, in your worship set, your worship leader may not choose to repeat it so many times, but using this recording as an example, I might want to reserve that octave sound. Remember, I feel that this section should really be reserved for super climaxes, so I'm not going to touch that yet, but I might want to spice up that riff with, instead of just, I might do like a, so what am I doing? I'm harmonizing that little tune. I'm really adding like a, and so I figured out what's a nicer sound. I added that's like a lower voice to it, and then of course after this section finishes, we're gonna get tired of this sound, so I would usually then choose to harmonize from the top. So for example, it would be, touched onto the top voice here. You could call it a treble, you could call it a descant, whatever. It's so whatever. Figure out a harmony line that matches with it and play around with it. But just remember the gradation of going from lower range to a higher range. So let's see where this goes. So here's where I find myself wanting to add one more layer on top, because of course we're just repeating that section again. that's where I want to use my little finger on my right hand to create this additional layer that was previously not heard. So you will hear me doing... What was I doing? I wasn't really just doing the same thing, but adding this as this pedal on the top, so you hear a fuller sound. So I'm trying to balance the layers between my right hand as well. There's quite a few things going on. I don't want to just let everything I play be loud. I want to choose a voice that's louder than another. So of course the louder one would be, and then of course my softer layer would be the... So I don't want to play that too loudly, otherwise it would just go... That just doesn't sound very musical to start with. So make sure you pay attention to what you play and you control your fingers as to which voice you want to bring out a little bit more. So and you will notice that my left hand was creating this little rhythm to match that pumping bass line, a bass drum bass drum as well. It's like... but with a D up here, just because I just think that's a bit too of a pure sound. It's personal preference, really. Once again, I prefer this sound. So you might see that I may not even play just a pure octave, but I might use the pedal to hold it and then come up to this voice, because I think I quite like hearing consistent sounds in one section. So yeah, that's the section that I was trying to do, and I hope that was well explained. This is the section where I feel like we might want to do the octaves. Pretty much, I think the rest of the song is really repeating stuff that I've already told you. So really hope this tutorial helps. Thanks for watching.